So here we are with the hellebore outlined, ready to start carving. Now the hellebore, according to our friends, is a fairly simple plant, but when I look at the painting, the centre of it, the pistils and the stamens, is actually quite complicated. What I didn't want to do was just do a sort of stylised middle of the flower like we've done elsewhere on the site. I wanted to make it look something like the real thing. So what I did was to make a model, and one of the main reasons I did this was because if I get the carving wrong, in other words, if I just mess up and I don't make it look like what it's supposed to do, then I've actually lost all this work as well. So it's really worth doing a little mock-up or prototype beforehand to see how this is going to work. So here it is, and you can see I've modelled the petals themselves. That's worked out very nicely, and then the centre part I've made into 3 parts with different parts of the centre boss echoing the flower, and a little hollow at the top here. And this is what we're going to try and do, try and get a sense of the complicated centre, but in a carving way. The first thing we're going to do is work on the petals and come down and sink into the middle of the carving, leaving this bit in the middle proud. So I'm going to set it in with my V-tool. Just to protect it, and then start taking wood down like this. And it's one of those things in carving that the way we get this bit to stick out is to take wood around it. So just in a big picture sense, we're just going to work this around. There you go, you can see. See it. So once I've got this sort of bit in the middle looking as if it's separated, I can start turning to these individual petals. And what I'm going to do is take a petal that's actually above the next one. So this petal is higher than this petal. In fact, why don't we put a V tool in here and just separate these petals off. So this petal, the edge of that petal comes down. Now I'm tilting the V tool over so that the edge is a little higher, and it's also a bit higher than this petal. So again, this way, tilting it away from it. So having picked that petal, I'm going to just start shaping it, and the way I'm going to do that is really sort of just by eye and try and make something interesting. So I'm coming right to the edge, cleaning up the paper, and on this side I might keep it a little high, but coming down, quite down into that groove, and then swapping to something a little bit deeper on this side. I might make this side a little bit hollower. So it doesn't take much to model them, but we don't want them to be flat. We want a little bit of looseness. So all my strokes in the end, and I might even at the end of the day be turning to narrower tools like this just to stroke this in, will be pointing towards this middle like this. So we'll take a first pass over them all, and so in here we can hollow a little bit out there. So that gives me a sort of sense of that petal. Now I'm going to turn to this one, and I will come back to them, but just to get an idea of where they're going. So this petal is this one is higher than this one, so tilting over, separate that out. Now this one I might make a bit more scoopy in the middle, like this. Come right down, and then just turn turn that over. Now where the grain is tearing, because you're going diagonally, you might well have to sort of adjust your movement and coming back this way a little bit. So just work this one over. And again, trying to get the strokes pointing, even if these, especially when we're finishing off, pointing towards the centre, so that the sort of the strokes of the carving tools are radiating out. So I'm going to make that one a little bit flatter at the top here. So this one's a bit flat at the top, coming in like that. This one's got a sort of more of a lower belly. I'll find something to do with the next one. So I've worked my way around all the petals. One of the nice things about Italia or Carve Relievo is that because there's no background, you're really allowed to go as deep as you like. So don't be afraid of pushing this right in here, down from the background. And quite a nice high relief. Leave this crud here for the moment, this sort of waste in there, but make sure all the surface is nice and clean. You can always come over it again. I'm using 1/4 inch tools and just light cuts just to finish off the surface once I've got the modelling done. Again, keep it simple. Simple works best. And finally, deal with these edges. So these edges of the leaves can be set in properly now. Don't undercut, I think that's not necessary, but make sure that these edges are nice and tight, sharp, and that these edges relate to the outline nicely. So once you've got that far, we can pause there and turn to the centre boss.